All right, you guys. I just want to say thank you for joining us here on the BPG Inspirational Station.com, the rawest, realest, loving y'all for freest internet radio station in the land, in the world, and in the globe. And of course, yes, I am your girl, your host, Lady Rachel. And so on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, as always, we just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for praying for us, praying with us, but most of all for praying. And we thank you for tuning in and allowing us into your homes. Just know that you can always catch us here every Saturday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, where again, on the BPG Inspirational Station.com at the BPG Holy Tea House, the holiest tea house in Houston, Texas. And so on this Saturday afternoon, I have two special guests, my sister Jenise Thomas and my brother Dorrius Tellis. And so we're going to be talking about somewhat of a sensitive topic that, to be honest, the church, I believe, sometimes shies away from. They consider it as taboo. And what that is having to do with sex and the unmarried. And how many know that we have a lot of unmarried? They go to church, shout, preach, pray, intercede, all of that, yet they are struggling or dealing with these urges that they have and wanting to know, okay, I'm praying, but why am I still really wrestling? And why have I not, gotten any further as far as bringing my flesh under subjection instead of my flesh bringing me under subjection? So, hey, not going to belabor the time, but I'm going to go ahead and bring them on, let them kind of say who they are, what they do. And then we're going to go ahead and we are going to take it away. And the topic is going to be staying kept. When my flesh says yes, you got to know on this journey, it does not go away. As I told my brother the other evening, hey, I remember what hamburgers taste like. Just because I haven't eaten a hamburger in a while, it doesn't mean that I've forgotten the taste of it. So what do I do when I get a taste? And the Holy Spirit's like, but you can't eat that right now. You know what I'm saying? Well, why not? I see it right there. I'm smelling it. It's looking at it. It's right in my face. So what you mean I can't taste it? What am I supposed to do? Close my eyes? We know that that's not a reality. So again, I'm going to go ahead and bring them on here and we're going to take it away. So, okay, all righty. I have my beautiful sister, Jenise, and my awesome, handsome little brother, Dorrius. So, whoever wants to go first, you can go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, give them your name, let them know what you do, and then we're going to go ahead and hop right into it.
My name is Dorrius, and I'm a minister at Spirit of Light Ministries, and right now I'm in school.
Name is Jenise Thomas. I am a member of Spirit of Life. I worked in the children's ministry, and in my professional life, I'm a contract manager at one of the utility companies in Houston.
Okay, all righty. And you guys, they are unmarried. And, we know today it was a message that one of the pastors, I believe, brought forth. It was keeping it G rated in an X rated world. So we know this topic is fitting because it's all around us. You turn on the TV, it's on ads. I mean, it's just like right in your face, and you like, Lord, I'm trying to keep it together, but it's like the more I keep it together, it's like being around somebody, excuse me, y'all, that's smoking and you're not participating, but it's like it's right there around you. So what do you do, when you are staying kept, trying to stay kept, desiring to stay kept, but your flesh is saying, come on, Dorrius, look at her. Can you just, how about a little hug or a little peck or something? How about just a little late night cap? I mean, Jenise, he's smelling good. He looking good. He right there. Don't nobody know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just y'all two who really gonna tell? You know what I'm saying? So we want to talk to the people about that, how they can understand that it's okay. And you're gonna have these urges. However, what do I do? And these are just a few. I have like 5 different areas that I'm going to share with you guys, and we're going to start with my brother Dorrius. So when it says avoiding triggering situations, talk about that.
Um, well, I don't really have notes on this one, but I can say that uh, I can say that when it comes to avoiding, I believe you have to be absolutely submitted to God in the area of your life because sometimes it could be difficult in times when you're around certain people and watching certain things. Those things could affect you. So I believe that when you are completely submitted to God, He can help you come out of those situations that you are dealing with, in spite of what you're going through.
Okay. And Miss Janice.
So I would say um, how I avoid some of those situations is pre-planning. Let's say if I am going on a date or something, one thing I do not do is ride in the car with a man that I'm unfamiliar with. So he don't have to worry about picking me up. I'll meet him there and drive myself home. Now, this is someone that I don't know, and that carries on for a while. So if I already know, physical appearance is the first thing that you see. So clearly there's a like interest there, and
Mm-hmm.
so I just started out like that. Like I don't necessarily say that I am practicing abstinence, but I avoid those situations, like even those conversations at the beginning of meeting somebody. But I do not ride in a car with
Right.
someone that I'm not familiar with.
Okay. Okay. And so I will say, from what both of them are saying, avoiding situations, triggering situations. So I'll say for me, you guys, it helps when you know your triggers. You know what sets you off. You know what, if you want to say, excites you possibly. So it's like, okay, well, hey, a woman comes to you, Doris, and she's like, hey, brother, I have this situation. Can you pray with me? Now, of course, that seems innocent. She's just asking for prayer. But when you
Right.
look at her, everything about her is just like you like it. And you like, man, she look at what? And then she's like, okay, well, maybe we can meet at such and such place where it's just you and I, and we can pray. And like Janice said, a lot of times women, we got to be real with ourselves and know ourselves. Talking to Barry White on the phone at 9 o'clock in the PM, that's gonna trigger something. I'm just saying, you're gonna get off and you're gonna be thinking like, because it's in your ear. We have
Yeah.
to be real. We have to. I know to some people it may say it don't take all of that, but you are here, you're listening in, and you want to know, how do I stay kept when my flesh is saying yes? Because trust me, you keep listening to Barry in your ear, and your flesh gonna keep screaming, and eventually, okay, you may have good intentions. The Bible says you can have good intentions, but evil will corrupt those good intentions if you keep playing with that thing. Okay. And so now we want to talk about the second one. Get out of certain environments. Okay. And Janice, you can start there. You pretty much said, that you don't ride with someone that you don't know. But what if you are already in an environment? Say, for instance, you're living with a guy, and then you come to the realization, okay, look, this ain't it. I can't keep living like this. I can't keep doing this. I do want to stay kept. So what are some, I guess, steps, or how would you handle that, or how can you share if you know about it? Because I do. How would you handle that?
Well, you definitely, I would say, you would want an accountability partner, somebody that you can talk to about this. But I always ask God for a way of escape.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's not always simple, but when you know you are in a bad situation, and whether you are being kept or you have decided that that is what you want to do with your life, then it's nothing too hard for God. So you can ask Him for that way of escape, and He'll give you exactly what you asked for. Um, and that's just the start.
Right.
um we all have found ourselves in those places, and I can't say that I've always um gotten out of the environment, but you feel so bad afterwards,
Right.
after something happens, like over and over again, till where you start to perfect it. It's like, okay, I did that the last time, I'm not doing that no more.
Right. Right.
So whereas you might have moved in with the guy with the anticipation of marrying him, and you guys are being kept. Like, I had a friend living with a guy, and they were not romantically involved, engaged,
Mm-hmm.
but it eventually happened because they were in the same house together. So that's
Absolutely.
just an example as to why we want to stay, in our own separate places until we get married, so that you can avoid those type of situations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, brother?
I think that pretty much, sums that up, finding a way of escape because, and it can be difficult, when you first get into that environment, it seems nice, it seems good, but then you start to see, who that person is. And
Yeah.
if they're not right, pray and ask God to help you to get away from what's affecting you to really find who you're really supposed to be with. So yeah.
Yeah. And so, like you said, it cannot always be easy, you guys,
Yeah.
getting out of that. And one thing I want those that are listening, those again that will go back and watch, this is a judgment free zone, meaning that no one here is perfect. However, we know that we are perfected in Christ. And what this is just to try to meet you where you are, try to give you some tools, try to give you I guess some nuggets, if you will, on what to do, because it has to be a challenge for young people today. Me at my age it is, but I mean for young people today, because you don't even have to leave your house. You can be in in the privacy of your own room and have your own little fantasy going on with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And nobody knows from what you believe, because God sees all and knows all. But I'm just saying, as far as nobody else has to know but you.
Mhm.
And so how do you stay kept? You seeing all your friends, they get married, they got a girlfriend, or they have a boyfriend, and then you say, Lord, okay, I've been doing this for like so many years, and when is it going to be my turn? And so some people try to start trying to help God, and they say, well, maybe, with the moving in, and then like my brother said, you get to seeing, oh, I thought this was going to be, but this is not what it is. And so now
Mhm.
you have to get out of the situation. And like my sister said, um, sometimes it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not that pretty. I've known some people to get into those situations, and they went to church, heard the word. I'm telling you, I did. I was the one. I ended up thinking I knew what I did and what I knew. And I thought I was keeping myself, right? I
Mhm.
started leaning on my own understanding and got into a relationship for 8 years, 8 years of hell. You understand? Had me back to doing things that I said, oh, I'm not gonna do that. And I mean, it was full-fledged up off in there. And we all go to the same house of worship, Spirit of Life. And if you ever been there, the word ain't no, hey, it ain't no punk. It's for real in your face. But
Yeah.
yet here I am finding myself back in the saddle, as they say. You know what I mean? But I'm hearing all this good word. So what happened to me? And so the next question we are going to tackle, of the next topic that I'm going to have them to talk about, give me a moment, you guys, is taking control of your thoughts. Okay, brother, so go ahead and talk a little bit about that.
Taking control of the thoughts. So I would say every thought is not your thought because the enemy tries to put things in your mind to make you believe that. But how do you control them? I believe by prayer, and not just prayer just to get away from that
Yeah.
situation. A continuous prayer of elevating the mind and staying, in the process of elevating with Christ. Complete submission, and also sometimes uh, the thoughts that you have, you could be, comfortable with them, and you
Mm-hmm.
could you know fall into them, and go different routes that you're not supposed to be going into.
Mm-hmm.
But taking control of the thought is absolute submission to God, and overcoming that to stay productive in Christ.
Okay. And so, Miss Janice.
Definitely prayer and practicing,
Yeah.
trial, error, and constant practice at, you know, wanting to, you have to have that want to in you,
Yeah.
to take control of
Mm,
your thoughts, because
absolutely.
it's so easy to let your mind take you to a place
Mm,
that your body will meet you at.
Okay. Yes.
So instantly, I found myself in those situations, and it's just recognizing that it is a thought. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, and with prayer and practice, you can minimize that thought, and then after practicing for so long, it's almost, it's easy.
Yeah, yeah, it does get easier, you guys. It does get easier now. No one here is going to say that we have not been challenged in more ways than one. And
never.
sometimes I'm going to be honest, women, we try to put it on the brothers, but some of us can be a little aggressive. you
Yes.
know and so yeah, and make it hard when he's like, I said no, and she's like, well, look at here. I'm just saying. So sometimes he can be, the woman, and unfortunately I'm seeing that a lot more with our younger generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girls, they just like, hey, look, I want you, and just what's up, what we gonna do, what's up, you know
Yeah.
and the man and the guy's like, okay, and so he's trying to keep it holy, and then maybe because I'm a man, um I'm saying no.
Mm,
Men say no. Yes, men say no. Real men say no.
Yeah.
That would mean that when he go home, he might, not have to hit the floor and start praying some things down. However, yes, men say no. But you talked about an accountability partner, Jenise. So how important is an accountability partner or a prayer partner, somebody that you can allow to check you, even if they kind of say, what you say to me, kind of partner, but they are checking you to keep you, to kind of help keep you safe. So, how important would either one of you say it is to have an accountability partner or a prayer partner, or,
So
be both?
let me say, when I joined Spirit of Life, I'll just give you an example. The day that I went to church, the night before, I was fresh out the sack, literally, like, yes.
Oh, hey,
And
I hear you now.
I went to church, and um the pastor was preaching about, how the women in the church were keeping themselves, and I was thinking in my head, ain't no way all these ladies in here are being kept. But after I was there for a while, I realized that they were being kept, and it was a goal that I wanted to work towards. And now how I got to that place, because it has not always been like that for me, is to have an accountability partner. Let me just say, I came from a family of women, particularly two, who waited um before engaging in that type of activity before they got married.
Mhm.
And I have seen the blessings in their marriages because they waited. And I've also seen those that did not wait, and the things that they go through is completely different. You can tell by the two. I had an aunt that waited for 10 years, and their relationship was definitely God ordained, and she had a great heaven sent man.
Mhm.
So I had an example, that walked before me, and then, I had accountability partners. I mean, in the years, and we just checked each other, like, you
Yeah.
know when we went out on dates, because you are approached, and you do go out with people, but being very honest with each other. I have one right now that be like, so I mean, she get down to the nitty gritty.
See, that's the
Like,
kind I need right there.
yeah,
Look at that, ma'am. I caught you 3 times. Watch it so long, answer that phone.
yeah,
And yeah, get the stuttering too long, you're lying, something like that. What you
yeah.
hide.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't have too much going on, but I have had um things going on, and she was like, "No, I don't think he's right because of this. You got to check the heart." And when you like somebody, you giving them an excuse as to
Hmm.
justify your logic behind dating somebody, and lo and behold, you know exactly what they told you. It happened, and here you go back to square one all
Right.
over.
Right.
That spirit of discernment and those accountability partners is what you need. I mean, they help check you when those emotions are like
Yeah.
run rampant. Like
Yeah.
they immediately be like,
Indeed.
"Hey, no, pray about it. It looked good, but you know,
Right.
the devil know what we like."
Oh,
And so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
He not gonna send you no junk. He gonna send you. She gonna
yeah,
be so stacked to you. Gonna be like, my
back.
gosh, God, where you been hiding this one at? Why I ain't see her? You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to tell you, y'all. Before I get to my brother in this question, in the beginning, when I first doing it, I was so like, man, cray cray with it. I was on the bus. This guy passed by and he sat down by me and I smelled his cologne. I said, "Sir, you're going to have to move." He was like, "What?" I said, "Can you go sit back there?" He was like, "Heck no." I said, "Not a problem. Let me get up and move because I'm sitting here smelling this here, baby. It was all like this here, all up under the nose." I'm like, "Oh,
Mm,
no, this
mm,
ain't going to
mm.
work. I got to go." A Joseph moment. So, yeah, you have to, man, yeah, you have to kind of check that flesh because it's going to start clapping really loud. So, brother, talk to me about the importance of an accountability partner. And now, mind you, you guys, he's a young man. See, and when I'm saying this is not young like so much about because his age. What I'm saying is in this day and age, it's rare with everything that's going on that you will find a young man that says, "Hey, I got some stuff going for myself. I'm hey, looking at myself, I'm good, but I choose to wait." And you like, what's wrong with him? I mean, because I'm just gonna be real with you people now, because this y'all know this is LadyRachael. This how I do. They easy on the eyes, okay? They ain't got no baby mama drama and things stuff like that. What is wrong with him? What you mean you being kept in? What I'm saying, young, when this is the time, as the word said, this is the time of your life to just boom, boom, boom. You can do what you want, have what you want, but you choose to say no, not knowing, truly trusting and believing that you will have a wife before Jesus comes back. But there again, learning to be content with, if I don't, I'm still gonna be okay. So, brother, tell us the importance to you as a young man, um, having an accountability partner or a prayer partner.
I think it's good because you're honest with them and you can, trust them with things that you bring to them. And also, they're helping you through difficult times that you're going through, to not baby you, but to
Right.
make sure that, you on top of your game.
Exactly.
So yeah, so I think that that's really, really important to be honest, to be truthful, and to, help them whenever it's difficult in times of life.
So, would you say that it is going to be difficult?
Yeah, I would say it will, but I think it becomes easier
Yeah.
when when you're submitting to Christ.
Yeah. Now, both of you have said, like when you say when you have submitted to Christ, and Janice, it was something you mentioned, oh yeah, about um emotions. And then when we submit, what if I really don't understand? what that means. How do I go about when I really don't understand? I thought I submitted. I thought when I said yes to Jesus and the Holy Spirit, came in, I thought that was, I thought that was me submitting. So you mean that I have to do what? And I heard you say not only pray, and both of you said, yes, it's good to praise, but you have to practice. And I think you guys, that's where we kind of miss it when we're trying to stay kept. We figure I'm praying. But Brother Dorrius said, you got to pray, but you got to keep praying. Because just because got away from that one on Monday, you may sit up off in there and here comes Friday, sister girl, another one sashaying by. And guess what? She tougher than the last one. And you like, come on now, Lord. She tougher than the last one. This brother here may even love the Lord. See, that's another thing. Staying kept even not outside of the church. You got to be careful. I ain't trying to be funny, y'all, when I say inside the house of prayer, because again, um, because this is a topic that sometimes is not talked about enough, or a safe place to allow people to talk about, hey man, I'm dealing, I'm trying not to, you know, mess with old girl or holler at her, but it's been a minute and I'm trying, but it's just not working for me. And either because, like they're saying, sometimes they don't feel that they can trust somebody in the house of prayer that they can talk to. And sometimes I think that's why some people either slip back sometimes, because either they are judged, um, you know, um, when they do things, people are looking at you kind of like, because I think sometimes, just being honest, you guys, um, sometimes in the body of Christ, those that are unmarried get can get like tossed around. It's almost kind of like people don't know what to do with you, or the women looking at you because you look in a certain way, but you unmarried. So they kind of wonder if they husband looking. And then, the man, he's a young man and he's a minister. So, they looking at him like, trying to hurry up and get him married off, introducing him to their niece, their granddaughter, and all of this other kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
the last one is going to be on get a spiritual perspective. And Brother Dorrius, being Minister Dorrius, can you uh, talk to us about that? And again, as a young man of God, um, that desires to be married and everything, but talk to us about that. Give us some points that you can share with the young brothers, because the old head
Um,
kind of got it, but we talking about
yeah. I think in singleness, you have to ask yourself this question, and I think everybody does. Is God enough? That's one of the biggest
that's really
questions.
good. That's
That's
real.
that. That's a big question because if you have to scratch your head on that, then you have to examine your heart and see, well, am I truly faithful? And if you do say yes, God is enough, then the mentality should be, Lord, your order is my priority.
Mm.
And when I'm doing that and I'm making God the priority in my daily life, then God will elevate me to producing my singleness and doing really whatever He asks me to do, whether that's praying, whether that's fasting, anything. And also, do you know who you are?
Mm.
You have to know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, then you have to really, really submit to God. And I really, really appreciate God for helping me to allowing me to know who I am as a young man, and also knowing that He's enough for my life. So yeah. So is He enough? And
Mm-hmm.
also, do you know who you are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm Jenise.
So from a spiritual perspective, you like I'm with Brother Dorrius. You have to know who you are and whose you are. You are God's prized
Mhm.
possession. I'll take it to the word. When Boaz found Ruth, she was working. So you can't be just waiting, you should be working, like working in the church, working with some of the ministries. I mean, and I know everybody in the church, some of us are just churchy and practicing religion, but if
There you go.
to connect you with some sisters or like kind that's going to help you on this journey, he will give you that kind. And then after a while, you don't even think about that because you're so busy working on you, working in the church, working in your professionalism, working on being a better you. A lot of times we think that we're waiting because God have to um perfect the person that he wants us to be with. But sometimes God is waiting on you.
Yeah, come
Yes.
on
Some-
now.
It's something about you. So when you are busy working, spending time in the word,
Mm-hmm.
working at word, working in the church, working your professional life, your perspective on being single changes a bit because you're
Yeah.
so busy working and being content in where you are. I'm content in where I am because I know that it's a peculiar and particular person out there for me. So I'm
Right.
not going to settle for anybody, but in the meanwhile, I'm going to perfect my relationship with God, get in
Yeah.
ministry at the church, whatever it is that he would have me to do, and become a better, let him clean me, cleanse me.
Correct.
I can be ready for the person that he had for me.
Right. And man, what both of y'all said was when I say spot on, as far as that question right there. I mean, that's a whopper. Is God enough? It's three little words, and they appear to be so simple, but they make you stop and say, wait a minute, is God enough? And if you have to do that, then not, and this is not to condemn anybody or pass any judgment, then that means he's not. Because anytime you have to ask is something like when you're in a relationship. If you have to ask, I had some older ladies tell me, if you have to ask a man, where are we going with this? Y'all not going anywhere. Because if you have to ask a question like that, that means that it's not happening, baby. It's not happening. And it's good that God will have us in a place like that because to have to ask, because that means it's more that he wants to pour into us. And then when you were saying about being content, after you do practice and you kind of, keep moving with it and keep grooving with it, after a while, it will be like, okay, it is what it is. But it's like this: if you have lived in hell, meaning if you have been in relationships after relationships that have been draining and they have been no good, and now you begin, like the word say, taste and see, and you have this freedom, you can go and do when you want, where you want, how you want, you know what I mean? And you're getting to know you, because many times we try to really find ourselves in people. So sometimes we're looking for that mate to complete, like, people say, my better half, my other half. Well, you should be complete. And I'm not trying to judge nobody for saying that, y'all, so don't throw no rocks over here. I'm just saying, it's not your other half. You are a whole person coming together with another whole person. And when it says the two becoming one, because you become one, and that's when you say, okay, well, how can we worship him singularly or whatever? And I don't even know if that's word, y'all. Hey, yeah, um, roll with me. But when you come together, y'all come together, and that's the one time that a man and a woman truly are one, when they mesh together. And in that oneness, that is a part of worship to God. That's worship to God. So when we outside of marriage and we not staying kept, we throwing up some strange fire, because that's not. And again, this is not to condemn anybody, because we all have been there. Maybe some have not. And I'm going to throw this in here, and it may be raw and edgy. um when we say stay kept mean from even yourself. Because see, a lot of people, they will say, well, I ain't messing around with nobody. But sister, you got some things going on, and brother, you do too. And so God means staying kept from even yourself, because he's made the woman the way he's fashioned her for everything you need. All the pleasure you need, she got it. Vice versa. All the pleasure you need, sister, he got it. You don't have to have nothing extra. That is why, and we ain't going to talk about that like that, but that is why God made us the way he made us to be whatever that man needs. Okay, I've had people ask me, well, what if I stay kept all these years, right? And then I get married. I'm telling y'all think I'm lying. A guy said, "You, what if you stay kept all this time and you just, and then you get the man, and then certain things ain't like what you thought." I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I said, God, don't let me say nothing real ugly. But see, this is where, like the brother said, brother Minister Dorrius said, when you know God and God knows you, don't you think he know what you like? Don't you think he whatever desires you got, them little whatever you moves you think you got, excuse me, who you think gave them to you? So if he, trust me, she gonna have everything you need and probably some little extra. You're gonna say thank you for that right there, Lord. So I would like for, because we still have a little time, for either one of y'all, whoever wants to go first, to kind of just, if you feel comfortable, sharing a moment um where you almost crossed over, but you know that God kept you in that aspect. I love these people. They're so funny. Y'all ought to see their face. um, okay. Well, now I'm gonna tell you. I'll start it off. I'll go first. A moment where I know that God kept me, and it ties into them saying your heart. God sees your heart, that you want to be kept. Like one of you guys said that you want to be kept. It was you, sister. A guy that I had dated. Matter of fact, the guy that I dated for that length of time, we separated. He went his way, I went mine. Then okay, I'm working it out, getting it together, and boom, he calls, and I'm like, oh Lord, what do I do? What do I do? He called, and so he's like, I'm right here at your house, and I'm like, oh Lord, what do I do? Because he right here. I'm telling y'all laughing, but I'm serious, and so I'm like, okay, what I do. But see, God is so awesome that, like she said, when he sees in your heart that you truly desire to be kept, he will give you a way of escape. He will keep you because he sees that you want to be kept. This particular night, my granddaughter had came in the room. We were watching TV, so she fell asleep in the room with me. So when the guy comes over, we sitting there talking. He was like, "Oh, your granddaughter in the room. Maybe she can go to the other room." No, she can't. She's gonna stay right here. And I was like, okay, Lord, this ain't right. I need you to help me. And then, people, guys try to call themselves getting comfortable. Boom, take off the little jacket or shirt. And you see, you're like, oh, Lord, because you ain't seen them in a long time. You're like, what is this? My Lord. I'm like, you got to help me. You got to help me. I'm serious, y'all. You're laughing, but I'm so serious. And I knew that God had strengthened me, that when I looked the guy in the face, each time I tell it, it's like, dang, I looked the guy in the face and I was able to tell him eyeball to eyeball, I can't do this to him. I can't hurt him. And I did not feel bad about it. And so that's what I mean when I say, and after that, that's when Dad came to me shortly after that and made mention about the unmarried ministry. And like you said, Sister Jenise, you had was fresh out the bed, baby. I was fresh up, like laying down, sitting, and there I was. God can use you. He's just like you say, he waiting on us. A lot of the times he's waiting on us. So by me knowing that he kept me, I was like, there's no possible way that I can allow him to keep me like that. And then excuse me, brothers, again, I'm not trying to shoot you down, but there's no possible way for a few minutes. People can say, what you mean minutes? Like I said, minutes, that I'm going to give up for that length of time and what he's brought me through and kept me. I'm going to give it up for them few little minutes. No, it's just not happening. So either Jenise or Dorrius. I love y'all. Jenise, did you have anything you wanted to
Uh,
For
share?
so instance, I dated a guy that I met at Spirit of Life,
Mm-hmm.
and um we dated for a year and a half, and nothing ever happened. We decided, I think one night he came over, um and he just, I mean, it was just, I guess the moment it was intense. Like we went out, we had a good time, and uh he was just like, hey, yeah, let's not do this. Even though I can't say I was fully in, because
Mm-hmm.
even I wasn't, I didn't even think nothing was gonna happen. But he was like, hey, I'm gonna leave because I don't even want this to take place again. We sat under the same word, so
Mm-hmm.
that hit like a ton of bricks. So I was like, okay, bye. And nothing ever happened. That was one time. Then a guy that I had been with before, so we had already had something going at
Mm-hmm.
one time, and that makes the situation even harder.
That's what
When
I
when
was running around like, Lord, what I'm gonna do?
Yes. So uh, we were in the car together, and he was like, hey, we went somewhere, and he was like, hey, you coming up? And I said, no, I'm gonna go home. He was like, man, just come up for a little while, have a glass of wine. And and typically I probably would have, but this time I was like, nah, I'm good. And he's like, man, come on, giving me all, man, just stay an hour, let's watch a movie or whatever. And I was like, hey, no, because you taking what I'm doing for granted. I'm telling you that that is not the person that I am, or the image that I want to portray. I am dating with an agenda.
yeah,
Absolutely.
N-
Yeah.
I'm not dating, I'm collecting data.
That's
So
it. That's why
uh,
I'm dating. I'm collecting some data. Y'all know I got my
yeah,
pen too, brother.
so the rat race and
Oh, that's
uh
all.
games of going through the same thing over and over, I'm not doing that. And it's very important to me that whoever I deal with take me serious. And
Absolutely.
if I wind up in the car with you, and I mean, this guy will even tell you it took me 6 months to ride in the car with him. So if
Mm-hmm.
I ride in the car with you, look, you need to know that I ain't playing these games. If I'm in your house, I'm in there and out of there. I'm not sticking around. And so I was like, hey, listen, I can't do this with you. Not only did we um it pretty much ended our whatever we had going on, because he kept pushing the envelope, and I was like, hey, I that is not the life that I want for me. I
Yeah.
don't want to play with you, because to me, when I had given him that right, it's kind of like we had plans to get married. I forgot to say that. But after that, it's like he wanted to extend the time. No, 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 no. No, I'm not doing this. So I jumped out. I was like, hey, on Christmas Day, I was like, hey, you know what? This ain't working for me. I'm out. So that's two instances.
Okay, brother Dorrius.
okay. I would say this. Well, I used to deal with porn,
Okay.
and there was one time where I was in a room by myself, just sitting there, and a thought was going through my mind, and immediately, you know, I ran away from it, like I went to go do something to keep my mind off of it. And
Right.
as I'm doing it, I'm praying and I'm asking God to help me, and through the years, because I was dealing with porn all the way. Well, I think I started at 12,
Wow.
all the way until however long, and then I. But then I just asked God to help me because I told him I didn't want to deal with it anymore, to the
Yeah.
point to where I hated it. Like I hated
Yeah.
watching it, and I hated it so much to the point to where every time those thoughts come,
Mm-hmm.
I just pray and I ask God to help me, and it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
I pray and I ask God to make an escape for me, and it works.
He say it works.
Yeah, it works.
Yes. And
Yeah.
That's what we have to do, guys. You have to I think the key thing in staying kept from hearing what they've shared and what's been shared is it really has to be something that you desire, because you can say, oh,
Yeah,
stay kept, stay kept, but if your heart does not want it, that's why you struggle, because that's when you have to pull back and say, okay, God, what is it that I need to do? When he said submit, that's when you say, I'm tired of this. He said, I got tired of that. I ate it. And then of course, like my sister said, you get tired of the rat race, because
yeah,
it's, look, I've even said it, I'd rather just, if it's not going to be like, just let me just rock it out the rest of my time, me and the Lord. Doesn't mean I don't desire it, but there again, I'm not going to play with this thing and just for those few little minutes, whatever it is. And then, so all of what me and the Lord, what he has built with me, that's like being in a relationship. You walking away from something solid. I mean, something solid, all your needs met. You don't have to worry about nothing to go and play with something that, you know,
yeah.
and then but the thing about God is you can come back. That's the good
Mhm.
thing about God, you guys, to know that you can come back. However, though, you don't want to play and say, well, I know, I'm under grace. Grace is not a free pass. Grace is what it is. It's just grace, but it's not a free
Yeah.
pass. But before we close out, is there anything I'll say, well, I will ask you, Brother Dorrius, that you want to share with the young men, never been married, don't have any kids, feel like, okay, Lord, and I ain't trying to be funny. I've had some people say, well, I hear y'all saying about Jesus coming back soon, but Jesus told me that I was gonna get married. So I mean, God told me I was gonna get married, but you keep talking about Jesus coming back soon, but I ain't got married yet. So what? What do I do? So just share whatever it is that God has put on your heart, with the young men who have a desire to be married, but with what's going on in the world, we don't know. Nobody knows when, but how can they help themselves be okay with those desires for not just sex, but even if they desire to be married?
Um, I would say stay faithful to God. Be content to His word, because when you're staying content to God and you're staying faithful to God, He'll elevate you in areas that you've never seen before. Just like with me, I'm going through a process, still learning, still producing, but I have faith in God and I'm very, very content to Him and I obey His word. So I would say stay content to God, obey His word, read His word,
Mm-hmm.
and just if God give you that, He'll give it to you. But
Right.
stay faithful as much as possible, with God, and don't lead into your own understanding, because when you lead into your own understanding,
Mm.
it can become very difficult in your life.
Yes, it
So
is.
I believe it's better to trust Him through the process that you're going through, and He'll put you in that position of where you need to be.
Okay. And so, Jenise, if you can share with the ladies that are listening that will go back and be watching, that they have, like, he doesn't have children, but you have a child, and you've been in relationships, like that. So okay, and you're still a young woman, you know what I mean? And so share with them as far as, like you said, okay, waiting, because see, remember, we're the women, we're the woman, we're to be found, we don't find. So what
Mm.
happens when you start saying, okay, Lord, you've been telling me my husband is coming. He been telling me, he been looking for me. Either he blind or what's going on, because I've been standing over here and he hasn't found me yet. So just how can you encourage them in their waiting season, waiting period, their desires, they're dealing with these, because women, we have urges too. It's not just the brothers. Trust me, women have urges and they have desires just like men do. So if you can share some encouraging words with the ladies.
I think Pastor tells me every Sunday or every other Sunday here lately, Jenise, I know your husband is on the way. So much so to where it has piqued my interest. Now I'm looking like, okay, is he right here? Is he near me? Is he coming? What I will tell you is that not not to not to get so excited to where you lose focus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't be excited for be anxious for anything, but in everything you pray and get in the word. I can tell you that I went through a trial and it has drawn me closer to God, and God is so amazing. You know, if you ask him to keep you, he will keep you, so much so to where you're not really focused on um uh, in the mate. And it's not like that's not what you want. I do desire to be with somebody and be married, but not to a man, but the man
Right.
that for me, and find out who you are in God's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And that will give you what you need, to hold on.
Right.
Have that accountability partner that you can be a non-judgmental person, that you can just tell where you are.
Yeah.
And one thing I'd like to say to the ladies that have, started and stopped, if you break a dish in your kitchen, you don't open the cabinet and break all of the dishes. You just sweep that one dish up, and,
Uh,
and you get another one. So don't worry about
right.
or use that as trial and error to help you in your journey. And the next time, don't do that. And
Right.
so after a while, you look back and it's like, whoa, all this time. And like
Oh,
one of my 10 years, and I know my mom waited for a certain amount of time, but just be content in the seats. And if you feel that anxiousness and that weariness, get in the word, let your accountability partner know. But and even somebody at your church that you can trust, you
mm-hmm.
know but pray in season, out of season, and find work in the church. Find something to do with that idle time.
Yes, the out of mind is the devil's workshop. Please believe
Yeah.
me.
And
And
it will.
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, and it will help, like just find something to do with that idle time.
Absolutely. And I will say this, you guys, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Be honest. And guess what? God is not going to strike you down because you tell him. Does it not say in his word that he's our friend? So if he's your friend, that means you can go to him and say, God, I'm feeling a certain kind of way. I'm in this room by myself. I'm in this house by myself. You know. I'm telling you, because I had to even be honest with myself at a period within because it's been for me. It's been 10 years, and within the first 3 years, I was like, I'm seeing everybody. They got a friend. All of this and that, and I'm like, I mean, what's going on? They don't even go to church, Lord. They don't even go to church. They don't pray or nothing. But not only do they have a man, they got married and they got some kids, they got a nice house, all that kind of stuff. But he tells us don't look at that. Don't envy what people have, especially if they're wicked people. Don't envy that, first of all, because those things are going to pass away anyway. And like the brother was saying, you gotta God wants to know, am I enough for you? Just imagine when you're in a relationship with somebody and you want to know, if you don't have all that stuff, will I be enough for you? And so many times, if God sees that man, that woman is going to be a God in your life, it will be a delay, because he's like, that's, they're going to come in and they're going to forget all about me. And I love you and I don't mind you and your boo, but ain't nobody going to take my place, because that's my place right there. But anyway, I just hope that you guys heard something here that piqued your thought. I know that question right there, is God enough? Because I'm telling you, that's a big one. That's a big one. Is God enough? And that's whether you married or not married, because some people have made their spouses their everything. And ain't nothing wrong with putting your spouse up there and this and that, though they are still not the standard. They are just a reward, but they're not the replacement. And so God meant what he said, that I will have no other God. Nobody's going to take my place. Not even that husband that you prayed for, not even that husband or that wife that I told you that I have tailor made for you. If she begins to get in my way, it's going to be a misunderstanding. But anyway, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I'll leave this thought. This lady told me one day, we're creatures of habit, and
Mhm.
whether we have vices or we make people in our lives our idols, look at that. Look at those things. Whether you smoke, you drink, you idolize your relationships. Look at that thing as God saying, "I want that time with you."
Mhm.
So if you are a smoker or a drinker, imagine every time you pick that cigarette up, or every time you indulge in that type of relationship, God is saying, but I wanted that time with you, but I wanted to spend that time with you. If you think about that every time, it get easier for you to spend that time
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. Anything else you have, Brother Dorrius?
Not at all. This was amazing.
Now, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all something about this guy here. He's saying nothing, hey, it was amazing. You'd probably think, oh, he's just a man of few words. But I challenge y'all to come out to the spirit of life. Who you heard tonight, you'll be like, that's that same guy who was talking. Because he has a lot to say. And you would think that it's an old man hiding somewhere behind there. But anyway, I'm just grateful, because this is a new place, a new time, and a new season for singles with a testimony. And people need to know that we are relatable. People need to know that where they are, we have been. And they need to know that we're telling them that it's only by the grace of God. You have to excuse my dog. It's only by the grace of God that I'm not back where you are. See, a lot of times I think some people don't want to talk to us, and us meaning people in the church, because we give off this persona that, oh honey, I'm saved now, I don't deal with that anymore. When all of these secret sins so many people have, and that's why you're seeing all of this stuff going on in the church, God is exposing, because a lot of us have not been real with ourselves. And so many people come to the house of prayer for help, but because they are struggling with porn, or they're struggling with going from man to man, or woman to woman, or man and woman, but nobody they find there that they can trust, they keep going through the same old stuff, and they keep, until they end up, yeah, okay, they saved, they're going to heaven. But God did not intend for us to come to heaven defeated. He intended for us to come to heaven fully emptied out of everything that he put on the inside of us when he
Amen.
down here. So you guys, I just want to thank you as always for tuning in to the BPG Inspirational Station .com. You guys, y'all can catch us every Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, again on the BPG Inspirational Station.com. That is the holiest tea house in Houston, Texas, which is the BPG tea house. And so I just thank God for both of these two here. This is a new, I'll say, a journey, a new relationship, and I'm just loving it, because people need to see that we are people. Now, we are not just people, but that we hurt, we go through things, we have struggles, we have challenges. Just because we have God in our life and we've accepted Christ and the Holy Spirit lives on the inside of us does not mean that we are exempt from falling short. We can get caught back up if we do not, like the brother said, if we do not stay obedient to the word. Like the sister said, we don't practice it, which means we don't apply it. And then of course, when we have forgotten, or if we just really never knew who we really were. So I just want to say thank you guys for saying yes to the invitation. I hope that you guys understand how to, well, I hope we shed a little light on how to stay kept. Even though your flesh is saying yes, because no, your flesh gonna say yes. because your flesh ran the house for what? I'm 56. So my flesh ran the house for about 40 years. So you think because I don't receive Christ now, my flesh gonna say, okay, I'm just gonna sit over here and be quiet. No, 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 no. It's really gonna start trying to scream because it's like, now what now? Oh, I can't say nothing at all. So yes, God didn't intend for our bodies to run the house. He intended for our spirit man to tell our bodies what to do. So you have dominion over it. So that means take control of your life, take control, and do what you need to do, and tell that devil, not today nor tomorrow. But anyway, I think you guys enjoy the rest of your beautiful Saturday afternoon. And I'm Lady Rachel signing off. Peace, one love. And we are out of here.